What's up, guys and girls? Zach and Gabe from Switch Force here. New pieces of the Switch puzzle have come into focus today. Eurogamer with a report all about the clock speeds and the overall power structure of the Switch. Some things that are a little bit worrisome, but at the same time, hurdles that I think Nintendo can get around. So, the basis of this report, it continues to dive into the VentureBeat report and some previous rumors, previous leaks about the power of the Switch. So we're talking about the different NVIDIA chips they use, and Eurogamer seems to have more information from sources that get down to the exact clock speeds of this console. Now, the pertinent information here, if you go through all the numbers and all of the specifications, the most important thing for us is that the available GPU speeds, the clock speeds, are different, vastly different when docked versus when portable. So this thing will be running at 40% of its power graphically when it is portable, and has 2.5 times the GPU speed when it is docked, which is a notable and large gap, right? It is 307.2 to 768. Now, the CPU stays the same, the available memory controller speed stay the same, but it's that GPU that really is going to limit these games from a technical perspective and from a graphical perspective when they're on the go. Gabe, does this lower your excitement for Switch at all? Is this something that you think Nintendo can get around, or are you hopeful that whatever customizations NVIDIA and Nintendo have made to the chip will allow them to sort of leapfrog over this potential problem?
All right. Well, first I want to get a couple of things out of the way before we get into like the nitty gritty of everything. The thing is, a lot of this is like super technical, and way more technical than I care to admit that I understand. Like
Sure.
I understand what higher clock speed mean. Like I get it, but I don't work at Digital Foundry. I can't. This isn't a video breaking down exactly what this means because I don't even think we really know what it means.
Sure.
Nintendo's great at optimization.
Yeah.
They can get very pretty looking games on hardware that isn't great. We just got finished recording a Mario Kart video. It looks beautiful, and it's on a Wii
Sure.
U. So with that said, like I definitely think Nintendo can get around it, especially if they can get the hardcore on board somehow, and it isn't with graphical prowess. And I think
I think
that's
it's safe to say the Nintendo stuff is going to look amazing regardless. So when you're talking about playing your Marios and your Zeldas and your Mario Karts and your Splatoons and your Pikmins and your Donkey Kongs, this speed gap, this difference when docked and portable, I don't think matters all that much. Where it may come into play is with those third parties. The Eurogamer article cites that the gulf in the CPU clocks means that in theory at least there's overhead to run a 720p mobile portable title at 1080p when docked. One developer source likens this to creating two different versions of the same game, almost like producing a PS4 and a PS4 Pro variant. So that is where things make it a little bit tricky for third parties and how they want to handle, and if they're willing to handle, basically having to QA separate configurations of the games. Now, again, we don't have the full picture here, so we don't know how it's optimized. We don't know if there are workarounds, but we do know that there will be a gap. Again, though, I agree with you, Gabe. I don't think that this is going to, unless this thing came in with insane tech specs, I don't think a little give here, a little take there is really going to impact sales or the overall success of the Switch.
Yeah, I would hope not. Like my only concern is like just like the state of mind of like the hardcore gamer, like they're down on Nintendo again. Like if you go on NeoGAF and other forums, like people are down on it because we had rumors, and rumors are rumors. They may or may not even be true. We talk about them and it's entertaining, but there was a rumor that it was as powerful like as an Xbox One or something.
Right.
It wasn't as powerful as a PS4, but you could do like Xbox One type stuff. But now it seems even that may not be possible. Which
When
again,
portable.
yeah, when portable. And
Yes.
to me, like it doesn't matter because I think even when docked, like I'm not familiar with the like clock speeds of the processors for the Xbox One are. I can't comment to that, but it seems like these are lower, right? Like that's what I'm getting from NeoGAF basically, and that's what I'm going off of.
Right. And I think the focus is, let's remember what the goal of this system is. The goal is to create a system that can be played at home and portably, the exact same games, the exact same experience. And as long as they're able to achieve that, right? If it runs a little bit of a low resolution, if it runs a little less detail, that's okay. Where it becomes an issue is if the frame rate takes a serious hit, or if the performance of the game becomes unbearably bad while you're portable. But knowing Nintendo, knowing their focus on what this console means and their sort of desire to achieve this dual system, I don't think that's going to be the issue they have to worry about, and therefore that almost makes this, to me, a moot point. We saw Breath of the Wild running incredibly smooth, both on the big screen and in Jimmy Fallon's hands when Reggie brought it to the Tonight Show. As long as they can do that, a little bit less detail, a little bit less from the pixel perspective, I don't think really hampers them that much. And, the Eurogame article does note that they don't know everything that has been done to make tweaks or what with this chipset and with sort of the innards of the Switch. So maybe Nintendo has some workarounds. Maybe it's not as dire as it should be. But let it still be known that this will be the best looking handheld anyone's ever played, right? So it's still will perform stronger than a Vita. Laura Kate Dale tweeted this morning that she's convinced it will outperform the Wii U even when portable. So it's not like this is going to be like, oh, dear God, it looks like it's ancient when portable. It just won't be at the same level as people may have hoped, like it will be when it's docked.
Yeah, but then, the thing becomes how much does that vocal minority matter? Like, how much does it matter that as of today, there's a negative stigma around Switch? They could easily turn it around. Hopefully the January 12th presentation they have ready brings a lot of people on board. But as of now, people are disappointed, and I hate to see it over something so trivial, or something so insignificant. Not that graphics are insignificant, but Nintendo knows how to make games. And does it suck that third party might not be as on board as we think they are? Yeah, it sucks, but maybe they are. They're gonna try.
Right. I mean, as long as it runs decently comparable while docked, I think you have to expect that is the primary, that's the mode 1 way to play this thing, right? So that's the first focus. And as long as Nintendo is able to avoid sort of the debacle that was the PS4 Pro launch, when some games didn't work, some games didn't even have the mode, some games look worse on PS4 Pro. If they're able to have a smooth launch and a smooth transition between portable and docked with just a loss of power, and if that 40% is far less felt than it sounds, right? Do we feel like we're playing 60% of the game that we just were playing when sitting down on our couch? As long as we don't feel that, I don't think it's that big of an issue.
A lot of Xbox 360 games ran natively in 720p, right? So, even if it's that, when portable, I personally have no problem with it. I have a PC for when I want to play 4K stuff. You have a PC as well. You guys have PS4 Pros. If Mass Effect is coming out and you really want to play it on high settings and you want it to look beautiful, play it on another platform. The Switch will be there for other stuff. The Switch will do things that other consoles can't do, just like other consoles can do what the Switch can't do. They can coexist. I truly believe that. So, and
I think some people will take that same question and say, hey, I want to be able to take Mass Effect Andromeda, in your example, on the go with me. And so, suffering through a small or a moderate graphical downgrade may be okay, because as long as this thing still performs and plays well while portable, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue, right? I mean, to me, that seamless transition is what's critical. A little bit of loss of fidelity is not going to seal the fate of the Switch, as long as what we saw on the Jimmy Fallon show with that seamless smoothness, as long as the games are quality, as long as third parties are not so off put by this that they don't want to make games. Personally, I don't think this has an effect. Would it be great if it did run at 1080p 60 24/7? Absolutely. But here's something else to think about. Would you rather this thing run at the same clock speed while portable with a 2-hour battery life, or would you rather see it take a hit but have a 5-hour battery life? And to me, I would take the latter.
Yeah, for sure. You want to take that battery life, and rumor is that you can carry a power bank with you and charge this thing while you're playing at an airport, so you could theoretically just be playing for a very long time while portable. And yes, it's not your PC in your hand, but I think it's silly to expect that. And
I do think it's important for people to when this thing comes out, I think that it's going to be a tricky, way to figure out how you 100% review the games, right? Because let's just say Breath of the Wild plays amazing both ways, but it looks worse on the portable. Do they give it, do they dock points because it doesn't look as good on the portable, or do they say, okay, the primary mode of play is on the docked home console mode, and therefore it looks gorgeous, right? Just as an example, I think that we still have to remember that the primary thing is a home console, and it'll be interesting to see if behaviors change, right? Does this end up more replacing the 3DS than replacing the Wii U? Does it, what are sort of the usages? What's the case study on this in terms of how often people are portable versus how often people are put inside that dock? Either way, though, it's going to be the best looking mainstream handheld we've had. It's going to play the same games without any game downgrade, right? So there may be a graphical downgrade, but it's not like, oh, you're playing a Breath of the Wild mini game, right? It's still Breath of the Wild, and I think those are the important things to focus on, and I think those are the things that are going to determine the Switch's success, not the clock speeds and not a lot of this technical jargon that, for the most part, the average consumer does not know and does not care to know.
So, all right, I mean, and then the question becomes, and I don't know if Nintendo has addressed this. Is this a home console that's also portable, or is this a portable that's also a home console?
I think it's a home console that's also portable.
I mean, that's fine, but I have no issue with it being a portable that's also just a home console at the same time.
Oh, for sure, but this is going to be sold and marketed as a home console you can take on the go, 100%.
Okay. I mean,
and all of their marketing will be that. The box is going to be that. I guarantee when it's shown off, like at the Jimmy Fallon show, it starts off docked and then you can take it with you. I guarantee at the event in January, we're going to start off docked and then be able to take it with us. I think this is a home console that has a hit when portable, but dang, you're still playing the same games. That has never been done before. And taking AAA titles with you on the go at even 60% of their, clock speed is still going to be a modern marvel that we've yet to experience.
Especially at the price point that we all think it's going to be. We think it's going to be 300 or sub 300. So,
you're not going to be scraping the barrel for something that's, quote, underperforming. You're going to be paying a very fair price for something that does a lot cool. So I think, there will be sort of the naysayers and the negative outcry over, all the specifics of these numbers. But at the end of the day, if they can deliver a solid presentation in January, if they can show off a solid lineup of games, and if we see the same experiences being able to be played seamlessly without taking hits to that experience, then a little less fidelity doesn't really matter.
I just had a thought that has nothing to do with this really, but maybe we should make a separate video on it at some point. Do you remember, I believe it was this last E3, I think, me, you, and Becca were trying to figure out a place for you to upload something. You had just moved to your apartment, you didn't have internet yet, right? So we went to the parking lot of a Trader Joe's or something, and we used my my phone to get an internet connection to your laptop, and you were able to upload it. LTE is pretty good in most places these days. So, how cool would it be if the Switch, if I can use my LTE connection on the Switch, to play, even play online stuff, while at an airport, that could be really interesting and not super hard to do. I think if all our phones can do it, I don't see why the Switch wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to focus on what they're trying to achieve here from sort of an overall standpoint rather than what they're going for. I don't think it was ever their desire to make a, bleeding edge numbers console. I think the desire was to make a console that could service a whole lot of different needs and sort of provide a brand new experience that in this exact way has never been had before. And I think it's also important to know that the success of the Wii was not based on the forum goers who know everything that Digital Foundry is talking about, but rather on more of the average gamer, the average family, the average person. So this thing's success will not be decided by this article.
Although I do wish that they wouldn't chase the Wii success, and they would figure out.
Oh yeah,
because I don't think that's the type of success that that is sustainable. Because that was it was a flash in the pan, I think.
And we'll have to see, exactly what Nintendo has done with NVIDIA to modify or to, help out, the chipset and exactly what it does. And we won't know that until it's in our hands and playing it. But from my perspective, I would not worry. And I think this is something that is overblown, as is a lot of power discussions these days. The PS4 Pro, for all its power, does it really change my experience? Not really. Maybe Scorpio does, given the fact that it has such a giant leap. But I don't think this, GPU gap is really going to really do a whole lot one way or the other for the Switch.
Yeah, I agree. I do think it's overblown. It does make me feel some type of way about it. I wish it was more powerful, but it's not. So, we're going to accept it. The games are still going to look great. Zelda's still going to be Zelda. Mario's still going to be Mario. All those things. I don't buy a Mario console for third parties. I don't. Like most third party games, if they're available on PC, I want to play them on PC. So, like, Nintendo, for me, is like, it's a supplementary thing. And I'll get over it just like I feel like everyone will get over it. And I still think it'll be, like, really successful.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, someone commented on the Eurogamer article, which I think is a great way to end this. The most impressive handheld ever released or home console hobbled by the need to support the small form factor and battery limitations depends on your perspective. And again, if you could have a cooler system that runs at a lower clock speed but longer battery life, I think when push comes to shove, most of us would pick that. So with that being said, still a couple weeks away before this is all official. For now, though, I'm still feeling very good about the Switch. I hope you guys are as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do these numbers matter to you? Are you more excited for the things the Switch can do rather than the pieces inside of it? For myself and Gabe, Switch Force out.